Hey, Scott.
Hello. Hey,
Hey, can you hear me okay?
just needed you to invite me in.
Took a minute to get going. How's everything going?
It's going good.
Good. Appreciate you joining me. So you are lucky first person for Friday feedback here. So we're just gonna give this a shot, and you're gonna have to accept any issues that we have along the way. But we appreciate you being our lab rat for this.
I'm good for that. Always happy to be a guinea pig.
All right, so why don't we kick it off? Why don't you tell me a little about yourself? Tell us about where you're at over at Catching Clouds, what you guys are up to, the works.
Yeah, well, I'm a long time, 30 plus year IT geek. I don't look old enough, but I'm a little older than I seem. And I started this business with my wife. She's actually a CPA and a technical user. And I've worked from consulting projects to global multinationals and a ton of other things. But over the last 6 years, we decided, hey, we could work together. We both work from home. What do we want to do? How do we combine my technical expertise and her accounting expertise? And we've always asked, what do businesses do when they don't have technology or accounting? And every business needs that, especially Amazon businesses that can grow so rapidly. And so we started Catching Clouds, where we provide outsourced e-commerce accounting services. So we've got a team of 18 of accountants and techs that really help us provide accurate financials for e-commerce businesses. And we do whatever we can to share that expertise for clients that are ours or anybody else we work with, whether it's partners or other people. Is we spend a lot of time really educating everybody and sharing our expertise wherever possible.
Beautiful. Are most of the e-commerce sellers you're working with based off of just one platform or one marketplace, or are they across multiple marketplaces? What does your average client look like right now?
So we're usually taking on the more advanced clients. We do have Amazon only sellers, but the majority of our clients probably on more than 3 channels. And we have clients with over 10 channels. So we love high volume, complex, or even simple. Amazon only sellers or Amazon, Shopify, and eBay is the most common, or people that are on Amazon US.com, .ca, .co.uk. And so we're working with people that are doing everything from retail arbitrage to drop ship to B2B to multi-channel to Amazon Vendor Central as well as Seller Central. But we have a number of clients that we like. We have one of our favorite clients is he's an Amazon seller doing well. He's got one of the top board games on Amazon. He has one SKU. Okay. And it's just awesome. And so our accountants fight over that client, where the most of it, really our approach is we want to take on the hard stuff because people just don't dig in, even accountants, to dig into the technical aspects. So we really like the more challenging customers, but we're also great for those sellers that are over $1 million and really growing and scaling their business, and they want to trust their financials.
So how are you assisting in these clients scaling? If you have someone who's, let's say, just on Amazon or maybe just on Shopify, and they're ready to diversify and grow across multiple marketplaces, multiple shopping carts if necessary. How are you guys helping them with that? And what do you think, the best approaches that you've seen, at least so far?
Okay, well, there's 2 sides to what we're doing. So I spend a fair amount of my time, since I'm not an accountant, doing e-commerce business process optimization. So I'm helping sellers understand and identify the optimal operations cloud inventory tool, the right solution there. Talk to them about repricers and technology, what it means to scale from an operational perspective into either additional channels, whether they're doing listing or other functions. And then and then I really help looking at the operations, what freight forwarders do they need? What insurance do they need? And really asking all those business questions to put a whole plan together so that you've got a complete technical plan to succeed at it. The other side, of course, is providing them accurate financials. So they know what their capital is, they know what they can afford to spend on things, to understand what their current profitability is per channel, and looking at things, profitability per SKU. And so covering both sides, because we provide not just bookkeeping and accountants, but we provide controllers who are CPAs, who are really going to get into their business and challenge our clients to think about their profitability, to really think about the decisions they're making. And then we monitor, if they're spending more money on a channel, are they profitable in the first month, the second month, or the third month? It's really having somebody that's inside your business that cares, both the operational technology side of things to be successful at it and manage the data. And then not only the advice up front financially, but ongoing, really measuring it to say, hey, you really should cut bait on this Jane.com channel that you've never heard of, and you're actually losing money on this channel. Why don't you put more money into Amazon.com and sponsored product ads, or more of a focused versus a broader shotgun approach, which works for some people, but you have to monitor it to know where you're profitable on which channels.
Okay. So I have a question for you. So we have this
Yeah.
problem all the time. We have different sellers who approach us with different issues. So we help on the marketing side. So you mentioned sponsored products. So when the client has a new product, we always mention, there's three ways for us to approach this. You can, take it very slow and try and remain profitable. You can break even and have just your target ACOS is basically exactly what your margin is. Or you can just go to town and spray on it and just do everything you can possibly can and spend as much as possible and try to get, the better rankings for that product. What do you guys usually suggest when someone is trying to launch a new product?
Yeah, so you need to make sure you're profitable as a business. And really, let's say this is your third or fourth product, really our main is the middle option you had there, which is for the first 4 to 6 weeks, you might say a little bit longer, but not much longer. You want to spend 100% of your margin on sponsored product ads. So you're breaking even on that new product. And you might extend that a few more weeks to get it established and hit the ranking you want. But you really don't want, you can decide that you've set aside some additional marketing funds for a product and spend that and cover it across other things. But in this world, it's better to incrementally spend and tune and then maybe ramp it up a little bit than throw a bunch of money you have that you could spend on R&D or you could spend on yourself or profit that just sits in the business. And I take the middle road. We tend to say, look, you don't want to sacrifice the rest of the business for this new launch and really impact your overall profitability, because you need to pay attention to cash flow. And if you spend all that money on marketing, then you don't have money, if it's a success, to buy inventory to keep up with the success to turn it into profit.
Yeah. We take the same approach, but we have clients who tell us different things. So they want to take a different, typically we tend to see people who want to spend more because there is that correlation between PPC and the organic sales. So they kind of tend to see a slight increase in organic, so they think they're making up the money there. But I agree. I think that the smarter way is to actually just spend 100% of your margin, get it going for about a month or so, and then let it go.
Yeah, and then set a budget. I mean, but you want to stick to a budget versus chasing something that you're not sure of.
Yeah,
you really have to have a lot of discipline about your marketing spend.
I agree. Are you seeing better profitability for launching new products on Amazon versus if they were on their own shopping cart? So if you're on your own shopping cart, you have, email, you have social media, you have AdWords. There's so many other marketing channels. Obviously, your margin is better because you don't have Amazon fees, but there's so much more on a marketing level and on an overhead level. So if you balance out the two, I've always wondered if there's really that big of a difference in the profit margin.
It does add up. I mean, every business needs to consciously invest and grow their business off Amazon. Okay. Now, I'm not saying you ignore Amazon, but there has to be a real balance between what you're selling on Amazon, which could be 10 times the volume, but you make significantly more profit. I really think there needs to be a balance that you have, that you're not completely dependent upon Amazon at any given point. Not so much worried about competition directly from Amazon, but all the other sellers and other people out there. It's just a very competitive space where you can control your engagement and interaction with customers and build the loyalty and the long-term recurring customers, because you have more options off of Amazon. And it really needs to be a balanced approach, in my opinion. Even if it's 90% of the volume and revenue comes from Amazon just because of the size of the marketplace, that doesn't minimize the fact that you can't just ignore the other platform. And then you can drive so many other opportunities, marketing campaigns, loyalty campaigns, and on every sale you make more money.
Okay. How often do you guys work with like brand new sellers? So an e-commerce seller who just, has their one product and is ready to get going or something, or they just got a line of products?
Now, we're actually, where we sit is we're working with established sellers that really have hit a minimum of 50K per month in revenue. or typically over $1 million in revenue. So we're dealing with the more established sellers that already have a track record. They've been doing the accounting themselves and have some of the basics down and hit that basic level of support. And that's where we deliver the most value. Now, we really do care about those sellers that are smaller. So we've launched our Catching Clouds Academy, which is online e-commerce accounting courses. So we have an accounting for Amazon course that's about 5 hours and an accounting for Shopify course. And throughout the year, we're going to release a ton. Walmart, eBay, a lot more specifics to help people. But our current courses will let someone know this is how you set up Xero or QuickBooks Online. So our focus for our outsourced managed accounting services are the larger, more complex sellers. But I speak at conferences, I'm speaking in Brooklyn next week to really cover and help and just answer questions about the fundamentals and what it means to be in a business. Because people think, oh, I'm an e-commerce seller, an Amazon seller, and I'm all about product and marketing. But they're all businesses. The common fundamental is they all have to understand that they're a business. They have to have the right business structure. They have to pay taxes, and they have to have financials. And you can't just ignore it because you have to know if you're profitable or not as a business, not just per SKU.
Speaking of taxes, we spoke about this before, so I'm going to bring it up. So you can, I know it's not entirely your realm, but if you want to give me just a little bit of insight on what you're thinking with the Amazon tax nexus issue with Massachusetts and everything right now, what are your thoughts on it? What do you think people should be doing?
Well, I talk about it all the time, and it's one of our core services, is that sales tax is a reality for Amazon FBA sellers. It really is. No matter what people read and talk about the Commerce Clause and all this other stuff, it doesn't matter. The states are not only interpret the law to say you have nexus if you store inventory there, okay? They're enforcing it. They're sending out letters. They're suing Amazon. They're getting lists of sellers. They're sending out notices. Started with California, now Massachusetts, which Amazon just shared all their data with. That it really is a reality, and every Amazon seller from small to large has to make a risk management decision to understand that they really do have nexus, and the states interpret it this way. So if you send 1,000 widgets into Amazon FBA, they're going to move them to all 25 states, move them across 200 different warehouses. It's your property, and it creates nexus, and that's what the states thinks. That's what they'll audit you for. The challenge is it's very complex, but once you decide, you really need to look at which states you're going to register in. Always register in your own state. Then work on the next big 5 states with most of the population: California, Texas, Florida, then Pennsylvania and Ohio and Washington, and work your way through it. And it really is a reality. Unfortunately, it costs about $200 per state to register. Okay, so that's quite a bit of money, but at 25 states, or you pick the main ones that you're in. The next thing is you're going to pay between $30 and $50 per month per state, either for a tool like TaxJar or Taxify, which everybody should use. Don't try to do sales tax on your own. We use tools. Everybody should do it. It's overly complex. And once you're registered, collect and file. And the nice thing is once you're already doing it, it's part of an overhead of your business. You collect the sales tax, it sits in your bank account. You send it to states, you're done. And the only overhead is your monthly fees in either time or a tool or outsourcing. And it's someone like me or one of our peers. And you just have to decide, but you shouldn't ignore it.
Okay. So this past week, have you learned anything about the e-commerce industry? Anything recent that you want to share?
Ooh, there's a bunch of little things. One, the breakup between PayPal and eBay happened. I thought that was interesting, but I had to dig around, and the divorce doesn't happen until 2020, so we've got a little bit of time.
But it's coming.
So that's an interesting one that'll have a huge impact on PayPal itself. There's just a lot of buzz about Amazon sharing data with Massachusetts. I don't have anything new other than, look, if you should have been registered, you should make a decision and talk to your attorney or a sales and local tax expert, or email someone like me to figure out what it means for your specific situation. Those are probably the 2 hottest items that are happening right now that at least I see some buzz around.
Some of your larger clients, some of ours, 8 figures plus, well into the 8 figures, are on at least 3 marketplaces. Are you finding that some of the higher volume sellers that you're working with are on multiple marketplaces? And if they are, besides Amazon and their own shopping cart, where are you typically finding them?
Well, so mostly it's Amazon.com.cacouk is
Hmm.
the first batch, okay? And people are on eBay, but for all the major sellers, it's just kind of an outlet for moving product that's not selling or testing or getting feedback or things along those lines. The interesting part is we've got a few on Jet. I've had quite a few drop Jet. It just isn't generating the revenue that they expected. Walmart is growing and growing very slowly, and I think everybody's committed to Walmart as an alternative to Amazon, and that more and more people are putting more effort there, and Walmart's doing a ton of investment that's going to help everybody.
Hmm.
All the other smaller channels, like Chewy or others. So if you're selling a pet product, you should be selling on Chewy, and then it comes down to your specific situation. But I think if you are at the point where you think you should be on multiple marketplaces, it's going to be in Amazon, eBay as an option, and use it however you choose to, and then Walmart. And we'll have to see. I've been looking at and tracking Alibaba for a while, and people are using it to purchase products and maybe dabble to try to push products into China, but no one's killing it
Yeah.
or even making any progress here in the US. It's really there, but a marketplace approach can really work. But understanding you're going where the competition is.
Hmm. So after the multiple different countries of Amazon, would you suggest eBay or would you suggest Walmart from what you've seen with your clients?
Um,
First one you go to.
They're pretty they're pretty equal, but I'd probably say Walmart. Walmart's got the longer term play. They're really building the tools. They're investing in the infrastructure. I think it's going to be a viable. I think no matter what, even though Amazon has such free capital and doesn't need to make profit, I think that Walmart's going to just continue to invest huge in their channel and continue to grow it and leverage their operations, and the distribution centers they have around their stores gives them a good chance to really go toe to toe as much as possible against Amazon.
Nice. All right. Well, it's been great chatting with you. Can you,
Great
why don't
meeting
we go
you.
ahead and close out with you telling us a little bit about where everyone can find you, what you guys do, if they want to work with you, and so on.
Sounds good. Thank you very much. Well, they can definitely check us out at www.catchingclouds.net. Follow us at Catching Clouds on Twitter. We're always posting information about blogs and resources and security documents. And then, of course, if you're $1 million plus seller and you want to know you have accurate financials that you trust and an accounting team that you know is both technical as well as has the expertise of not just accounting, but controllers and CPAs, that's what Catching Clouds is here for. And then if you're a smaller seller or an accountant, we have our Catching Clouds Academy that'll take our 6 years of knowledge and really boils it down to show you a process that'll make your accounting manageable until you're big enough to outsource it.